Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. I'm glad that you joined me today. We're going to talk about something that everybody can utilize on a day-to-day basis working with your cattle, and that's doing a good physical exam and understanding clinical signs of cattle, when they're doing well, when maybe they have a problem that we need to get them in and check them out a little bit better. Thanks for watching today's show. More after these messages.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Dr. Dan Thompson, and I'm the Jones Professor of Production Medicine and Epidemiology here at Kansas State University, where I'm a veterinarian and a PhD in nutrition. And today we're going to talk about looking at the animals in the pen, deciding when the animal has something that we need to approach the animal, bring it in to get a closer look, or do a thorough physical exam, and some things that you can do at your home, on your ranch, your farm, and things that I'll look for out in the pen. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go out to the pen, we're going to feed the cattle, or we're going to put out a supplement. And if cattle don't come up to eat, if we have a change in behavior, that's the first thing that's going to tip me off. Because the old adage is that sick cattle don't eat, and cattle that don't eat get sick. The other thing that we'll look for is kind of the DART method, okay? And the acronym DART, D is for depression, A for anorexia, R for respiration, and T for rectal temperature. Now, we aren't going to take the rectal temperature out in the pen unless you're a lot faster than me. And so we're going to look at the first three letters, depression. The first thing about a depressed animal is they'll stand off by themselves. Animals that are sick, they don't want to be part of the group, they'll go and they'll stand, they'll isolate themselves. And a depressed calf will be one that has its head down, its ears down. It'll have a dull, listless look in its eyes, and it won't really pay a whole lot of attention to you until you get within its flight zone. The next part of that is anorexia, meaning the animal's not eating. And so what we want to look for is look at the sides of the animal. Back in the paralumbar fossa, or in that area between the ribs and the hip, that indentation where the rumen normally is a nice rounded side to the calf, but when a calf's off feed, they'll have an indentation, and they'll be slab-sided, or gant is the term that we utilize. And when we have cattle that are gant, they could be off feed because of pain to their hoof. It could be, it's very, very sensitive in a calf that's starting to suffer from respiratory disease. And so it's a very sensitive measure of when the animal goes off feed. They'll go off feed 3 or 4 days before we'll see the depression. So anorexia, in my opinion, is very important in being able to identify cattle that maybe aren't doing so well. And then respiration rate, we'll talk more about respiration rate, as cattle generally take 20 to 30 breaths in a minute. And we'll talk more about cattle respiration rate, how they respire, whether it's shallow breathing, deep breaths, and how those can be different on different types of clinical syndromes going on within the bovine. The last thing I'll look at in the pen is I will read the feces. Now, when cattle are stacking feces, they might be dehydrated. And so the feces will stack up when the calf defecates. If the animal has diarrhea, which in neonates we're thinking about neonatal calf diarrhea, or in a feeder steer we're thinking about acidosis or some sort of metabolic issue going on to cause that diarrhea, we'll look out in the home pen, and if we see a lot of diarrhea on the home pen, or if the cattle are painting their butts. When a calf has diarrhea, the feces will get on the tail, they swish their tail, it'll look like a windshield wiper type pattern on their butts. Those are just some of the things. When we come back, we're going to discuss lameness in the home pen, and then we'll take that animal to shoot and talk about doing a physical exam. Thanks for watching DocTalk.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
This segment is brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, where I serve as the Jones Professor of Production Medicine, and I'm located in the Department of Diagnostic Medicine and Pathobiology. And I spend a lot of time working with farmers and ranchers and veterinarians on how to identify cattle that are sick or lame. And when we talk about lameness, a lot of times we don't pick up on the subtleties of lameness soon enough. The sooner we can identify a calf becoming lame, we can get them in, we can apply the treatments. Generally, if we get it done sooner, it'll be a lot better outcome, treatment and case outcome, than if we put it off or we don't diagnose it until the animal's non-weight bearing. So, ZenPro Animal Health has come up with a scoring system. And in ZenPro's scoring system for lameness, it's a 0 through 3. And a 0 is an animal that's normal. So the animal is walking, they have a long stride, their stride, the back foot basically lands where the front foot is leaving. So when you look at the normal stride of a bovine, that stride length or that back foot will almost replace where the front foot was as the animal walks forward. The first subtle sign of lameness in a calf is short-strided. So the calf won't reach as far with the back limb, or they're taking shorter strides, and so it's more of a choppy, and that foot is not replacing where the front foot was. So that will be our first sign, and that would be a lameness score of 1. When we move to a lameness score of 2, which is more severe than a 1, then the animal is not only short-strided or having a shorter stride, as you can see from this video clip, but the animal also has the head bob. Now, in a horse that's lame on a front limb, what we'll say is the head goes down with the sound, and same with cattle. So if the calf is walking forward and they have a head bob, when their head goes down, their head is actually going down when they land on the sound foot. So when their head is up during the head bob, that is when they're landing on the limb that's lame. So you can kind of match that up and narrow it down as to which limb you're going to look at. As we move from a severity score 2 to severity score 3, it's 3 being the most severe. These animals are either recumbent and down, or if they're up, they're non-weight bearing at all on that limb. So a 0 is normal, a 1 is short-strided, a 2 is short-strided with the head bob, and again, the animal's head goes down with the sound limb on the front limb lameness, and then a 3 is non-weight bearing. The sooner we bring those cattle to the chute, the better. So when you bring an animal out of a pen, and now we're going to go from the pen to the hospital area or from the pen to the chute, you want to be looking at how that animal's moving. You want to be looking at the pen conditions as you come out. You want to be looking at the potential for diarrhea, and we're going to look at the gantness of the animal. And all of those are going into your Rolodex as you're bringing that animal to the chute to get a more thorough diagnostic review of that animal through a physical exam. While we take the commercial break, we'll move old Bossy into the chute so that we can do a thorough physical exam.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. At And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
I'm Dr. Kip Lukasevich with Production Animal Consultation. Today's BQA Tip of the Day is proper alignment with the trailer and the chute. It's really important that when cattle arrive at a feedlot or when the cattle are being loaded out for shipping, that trucks, when they come in to back up to the loading facilities, is that when they come in, they're square with the alley in which they come in. Sometimes we have trucks where they're 6 inches off or 12 inches off, and what that creates is it creates an option to bruise cattle, and shoulder bruises, flank bruises, any of those types of things. The other injury that can occur in that instance is if we get a leg that falls off, or if there's too much space between the loading dock and the truck, where a foot can slip through and we can fracture a leg. So the most important tip is make sure that we're square, make sure that we're flush when we come back, and that everything is in line for cattle to properly load into the truck. And that's your tip of the day.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people, because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. As fourth-generation farmers themselves, they understand the importance of using the correct products on every acre. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag offers quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today at 800-760-4964 or find us online at HeinenBrothersAg.com. Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, this is Dr. Dan from DocTalk. We have moved Bossy into the chute. So now we're going to do the physical exam. And the big thing about a physical exam, you want to start out, you want to make sure that you all have the ability to restrain an animal. If you're going to work with the head, use a halter. If you're going to do something with the side of the cow, make sure you have a squeeze chute or a stanchion or a way to put that animal in a place where it's not going to hurt you or kick you or hurt somebody that's working on your farm or ranch. And if you're going to work with the legs, you're going to make sure you have ropes, okay? And so we're going to make sure that we have ropes out there, and we'll talk a little bit about how we can maneuver the animal within a squeeze chute so that we can examine the head, so we can examine the rumen, so we can examine the legs, and different things that we're going to do during the physical exam. But the first thing we're going to do in the physical exam is we're going to take a rectal temperature. Now, the normal rectal temperature of an adult cow is 100.5 to 102.5. And then for a baby calf, we increase that 1 degree. So the normal, for a baby calf or a feeder steer, normal rectal temp is 1015 to 1035. Anything above the normal range is indicative of disease process or running a fever. One thing to be cautious of, though, is that when you're taking a rectal temperature in the summer or times when we have high environmental temperatures, the animal, if they aren't dissipating heat and they're accumulating heat load, they can actually have a slight increase in rectal temp, which would be normal. But when we get in that 105, 106, 107, we definitely have some sort of infection, whether it's a virus or a bacteria, that's going on in this animal, some undifferentiated fever or cause of fever, and we need to, which warrants a greater physical exam of that animal. Now, when you take rectal temperature, one thing you want to make sure of is that you have a calibrated or thermometer, and make sure your thermometer is working properly. The other one is that you'd be amazed that when we don't lift the tail to insert the thermometer, if you're having to just try to angle that thermometer into the rectum, you can actually perforate the rectum with your thermometer, and we've seen that in some cases. So make sure that you lift the tail. If you want to use lube on the thermometer, but make sure you lift the tail and that you do a proper insertion of that thermometer. Make sure you have the thermometer against the rectum wall so that you get an accurate reading, and not in the lumen. But 1015 to 1035 for our feeder steers. For a cow that you bring in out of the pasture, 100.5 to 102.5. If I'm moving up to the head, the one thing I might look at is first I want to determine how old this cow is. And if you don't know how to age a cow, we can do so based on the incisors. And once the first 2 incisors, the calves are born with baby teeth. And the baby teeth fall out at different ages along the cow's life. And at 18 to 24 months is when you'll have the first 2 incisors of permanent teeth. From 24 to 30 months, you'll have 2 sets of incisors. At 3 years of age or 36 months, you'll have 3 sets of incisors. And then 42 to 48 months or a 4-year-old cow will have 4 sets of incisors. And that's how you can start to score them. But one of the most important things, if you have a cow that's skinny that you're bringing in, look in her mouth to make sure she has teeth. Smooth-mouthed cows have trouble grazing and might not be able to keep up. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll continue on our physical exam and walk you through. Thanks for watching DocTalk. More after these messages.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Ellen Unruh grew up in East Central Kansas and earned her bachelor's degree in animal science from Kansas State University before attending veterinary school there. She is currently working on her master's degree in veterinary biomedical sciences, studying heat stress in feedlot cattle. Upon graduation, Ellen will focus on food animal medicine and do beef cattle research work.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Broadband has become as important to us as highways. That is why DocTalk is teaming up with NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, and rural broadband companies like Blue Valley Telecommunications in fighting for quality broadband access through the program Smart Rural Communities.
I don't think we have any idea what's coming in the future. I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago what we're doing today. So in 2 years, I would guess there's things we can't imagine that we're going to be doing.
To learn more, visit ntca.org/smart or bluevalley.net.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, folks, let's continue on our physical exam, and we're going to look at the eyes. And the eyes can tell a story. If they're dull and listless, that means an animal could be depressed. If the eyes are sunken in, that's pretty indicative of dehydration. If the eyes are bulging in an older cow, it could mean that we have bovine leukosis virus and we have some sort of lymphoma or something going on in that cow that we need to make sure that we're getting her taken care of. Also on the dehydration front, to determine dehydration, we'll first look and see if the eyes are sunken. The other one is a skin tint. And if I pull that loose area of the skin and it doesn't go back right away in the normal place, that means that animal is dehydrated. So it'll stay in that tinted form longer than normal. Okay, I'll also look at the nose. If the nose has got feed on it, I probably pulled a calf that looked ugly and not one that was sick. Feed on the nose is a good thing. But if the nose is dried, cracked, red, generally means that animal has something going on in a disease process, running a fever or such. Other things that I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at normal heartbeats. A lot of times people don't even know. The normal number of heartbeats are 40 to 70 beats per minute in a cow. Respiration rate, normal respiration rate in a cow is 10 to 30 breaths per minute. And the last thing I want to look at is a normal functioning rumen. The cow or steer should have 1 to 2 rumen contractions per minute. If they aren't, there's a high potential of bloat. There could be something going on that's causing rumen stasis and decrease in digestion within that rumen. When you want to take the heart rate or you want to take the respiration rate or measure rumen motility, you can use a stethoscope. A cheap stethoscope is worth a lot when it comes to a physical exam. Place the stethoscope on the cardiac region to listen to heartbeats. You can actually listen to the lungs, inspire air and move air and count the number of breaths. But using that stethoscope back in that paralumbar fossa, in that area between the hips and the ribs, you'll actually hear a roar or a roll of the rumen contractions. If you don't have a stethoscope, you can take the pulse of a cow underneath the jaw, or you can watch respiration rates, or you can manually, physically put your fist in that paralumbar fossa area and feel the rumen contractions as they move over your fist. Many different tricks to physical exams. I really appreciate y'all watching DocTalk. Be sure you work with your local veterinarian, and if you want to know more about what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Thanks for watching today. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.